Hey, good morning. It's good to be with you this morning as we continue in our time together in James. I was talking to some people yesterday. I don't know if you all realized it. If you click on, there's a link included in the description beneath this video, as well as on my blog where I'm posting the links to everything, and then even in the rooted text messaging. I'm including a transcript of the podcast and of the video for those that like to read. Some of you have mentioned that you prefer to read these devotionals, so I've been including a transcript. You can click a link. It'll be a Google Doc. So if you click that, you'll be able to read the words that I'm saying out of my mouth now. So this should be fun. But check that out if you prefer a written version of these reflections. That will be available. So thanks for joining us today. I'd love any feedback you have on that. If that's something that's useful or that you appreciate, I'd love to hear any feedback or frankly any other suggestions for these daily reflections, or any suggestions on what we can do next after we finish James. So I'd love to hear any feedback that you ever have for me regarding these things. Hope they are a blessing to you. I've enjoyed hearing from many of you that have appreciated this. So you're going to hear me say something that I'm going to say repeatedly throughout the book of James. This next section is one of my favorite parts of the book. I just love James so much. And I especially love one of the verses that we're going to read next. It's a verse that I think is a key verse that really makes a lot of life, kind of, to me at least, makes sense. So we're going to read just two verses today, James 1, 17 and 18, where James writes this. Every generous act of giving with every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there's no variation or shadow due to change. In fulfillment of his own purpose, he gave us birth by the word of truth, so that we would become a kind of first fruits of his creatures. Okay, every good gift comes from above. Okay, that's a huge, to me, concept. Every good gift comes from above. So I want to talk about what that means in life. Then I want to unpack a little bit of theology with what that means. So first, every good gift comes from above. In other words, this. If it's in your life and it's a good thing and it's from God, no matter what it is, if it is in your life and it is a good thing, that is a joyful and good thing in your life, it is a gift from God, no matter how great or how small. So a good gift from God includes the big things like salvation, the big things like the love we have for our spouse, the big things like the love we have for our children, or the love we have for our parents, the huge, ginormous things that define and are the foundations for our life. Those are good gifts, and those are from God above. Every good gift comes from God. That means if it's in your life and it's good, it's from God. All good gifts are from God. We get that for the big things. Like I said, we get that for salvation. We get that from, our families, relationships, friendships, these things. But I think this shows the details of God's love for us, because remember, every perfect gift, every gift is from above. That means if it's in your life and it's good, it's from God. To me, that's music. Music is a gift from God. I can't tell you the amount of joy good music has brought to my life. And I don't just mean, yes, I mean listening to my children play music, listening to my children in the band, listening to my children perform. Those are good gifts to me. That is a gift from God the Father. But other good music. Nickel Creek is a bluegrass band that I love. Me and Holly are going to see them next Monday over in Birmingham. Their music has been a gift to me. That's a gift from God. Jason Isbell and his music to me has been a gift from God. So for Andy Stoddard, outside of like the eternal things like salvation, music is one of my greatest joys in life. And I believe James tells us that that is a gift from God. If it's in your life and it's a good gift, it's from God. Creation is a gift from God. Laughter is a gift from God. All these things in your life is a gift from God. So I think here's what we need to understand about that. Our world is sinful. Our world is fallen. In Genesis 1, 2, and 3, we see creation and the fall. So creation is corrupted. So everything in life that is good is a gift from God's grace. The fall corrupted all things. Corrupted me, corrupted you, made us sinful, made the earth corrupt. We live in an imperfect world. So God is constantly interjecting goodness into the world through grace. And this is where the theology part comes in. I want to talk to you about the concept of prevenient grace. This verse is one of the underpinnings of the biblical concept of prevenient grace. That is for Wesley, and in Wesleyan theology and in Methodist theology, the concept of grace. We Methodists, we Wesleyans, we hold to grace in its forms. Grace comes to us in three major forms: prevenient grace, justifying grace, sanctifying grace. So let's talk a bit about justifying and sanctifying real quick, because they make a lot of sense to us. Justifying grace is the grace of salvation, the grace of conversion. When you get saved, John 3:16. When you believe, the grace that comes to you in your conversion and that reconciles you or draws you to Christ. That's justifying grace. Justification, conversion, profession of faith, getting saved. Whatever terminology you want to use for it, that's a gift of justifying grace. Sanctifying grace is the grace of Christian growth, the grace where we grow more holy, the grace we grow more faithful, the grace that God pours out upon our soul. We are remade or reformed, recreated into his image. The image of God that was corrupted in the fall, it is restored through sanctifying grace. In sanctifying grace, we grow closer to God, where we are restored. Philippians 2, work out your salvation with much fear and trembling, but know that God is at work within you. So we do our part to grow as Christians, but it's God's grace that is the driving force behind that. Okay, that makes sense. Prevenient grace. This is God's good grace available to all. This is the grace that draws us into salvation. This is the grace that draws us into conversion. This is the grace where God gives us these things. And so right here we see this: all good gifts are from God. That's prevenient grace. If it is in your life and it's good, it's a gift from God. It's a gift of prevenient grace. And our Presbyterian friends use the word irresistible grace. Grace can't be refused. We don't believe that as Wesleyans. We don't believe that grace can... You can say no, y'all. You can say no to salvation. You can say no to sanctification. You have free will. We don't believe, though, that prevenient grace is resistible, because prevenient grace is just part of the character of living. If it's in your life and it's good, it's a gift of grace. The laughter of a child, y'all, is prevenient grace, because that's a good gift. A good book is God's grace. It's a good gift. It's prevenient grace. The love of a spouse, the love of a child, the love of a parent. If you've ever looked at the Grand Canyon or seen the ocean, if you've ever seen a beautiful Delta sunset, that's prevenient grace, y'all. That's God's grace, God's goodness, every good gift from above. That's what prevenient grace is, and that's grace offered to all. People that don't know Jesus can appreciate a good sunset, can't they? People that don't know Jesus can appreciate the love of a spouse, or of a child, or of a parent. That's prevenient grace. And that's grace offered to all humans, because the Bible says here, every perfect gift, every good gift is from above. If it's in your life and it's good, it's a gift from God. And when we understand that, y'all, we understand the level of love that God has for us, that our life is sprinkled full of everyday, common, and small acts of grace and of beauty and of joy and of mercy. Every good gift is from above. If it's in your life and it's good, it's a gift of God. A good meal with family, a beautiful drive to work, hearing your favorite song on the radio, a slow dance with your wife. Those are beautiful gifts of God's grace given to us. Every good gift is from above. So let's spend our time this week realizing the good gifts that we have. We closed worship Sunday with the old hymn, Count Your Blessings. Let's count our blessings. Let's see our blessings as what they are. A gift from the Father. A gift of grace. A gift of God's prevenient grace, which he lavishes upon all of creation. And then a gift, a Prevenient grace, y'all, that's intended to call us to himself. Because that's what beauty does. And that's what joy does. And that's what love does. Because if there's something that's beautiful, there's something that is loving, there's something that is kind, there must be someone that brings these things to us. Beauty is a gift. Laughter is a gift. These are gifts from God. And they awaken our senses and awaken our faith and allow us to understand that there is someone who loves us, someone that is beautiful, someone that is joy, that someone is God. So look for the little gifts of grace in your life, the small acts of beauty and of life and of love in your life. That's God's gift to you. And that's prevenient grace. That prevenient grace is intended to allow you to know the goodness of God and draw you closer to him. So every good gift's from God, y'all. Every good gift. So let's look for God's gifts in our life each day. Thanks for being with us today. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you get something out of it. And I'd love to hear any feedback you have. Thanks for being part of our time together today in James.